About 2/3 of all sellers either do repairs to their home or full-blown renovations before they list it to sell. Is this appropriate or not? Well, it depends. Let's take a closer look at this. First, let's look at repairs versus updates. This is the option of fixing items that are broken or damaged or may directly affect someone's first impression of the home. Sometimes people ask me, hey, Paige, should we do a pre-inspection before we list it? My answer is, well, it depends on the house. Do you have a lot of repairs you think you'll need to do? One of the pros of a pre-inspection is now you know what you need to fix. One of the cons or other things to consider is now anything that's found is what you'll have to disclose as a material fact. So essentially, that list of items that you discovered during the inspection now becomes a disclosure list, in addition to anything else you may be sharing. Opinions differ on whether this is a true con. Personally, as a listing agent, I do encourage sellers to disclose as much as possible, not only to protect themselves, but also to avoid surprises that may be discovered during the actual inspection after it's under contract. By being proactive and knowing what the house offers as well as what needs attention, you enter into that process of negotiation, going on market, and then with that eventual buyer, much better prepared and not caught off guard. If there's a laundry list of items that are disclosed, but that you aren't fixing, in that case, we can discuss how to approach that ahead of time and possibly factor it into either pricing or in the form of a credit or simply disclose it so it minimizes the impact it will have on our negotiations later, since the buyer has already been made aware. If some of the items are larger, let's say hail damage on the roof or siding or a functioning issue with a furnace, we may be able to get started on either an insurance claim process or even get some estimates for more substantial repairs so that we can use that information in negotiations in the event a buyer asks for more than we believe they should be asking. If something is discovered that really needs to be fixed, that affects the house's usability of a home, let's say you don't have a large sum of money to fix that before you close, we can also address different ways to handle that as well. It's really all about being prepared. Now let's discuss renovations. Sometimes I get the question, should I renovate to get this home sold? The answer is, again, it depends. Often I'll walk through a home with an owner and they'll say, I know it needs new carpeting upstairs. I know the bathroom fixtures are older. I know the tub insert needs to be replaced, and so on and so forth. If it's an older home and you only make selective upgrades, let's say you remodel one full bathroom, but the others stay the same, sometimes looking at that in conjunction with the older paint, trim, carpeting actually could shine a light on what still needs to be done and have the opposite effect of what you intended. So often my advice in that sort of situation is to not do those large renovations unless you're really willing to go big. And by that could mean more money out of pocket and also pushing out your time frame to sell. This is also when we look at the cost of putting your goals on hold. What's happening with home pricing in your location as well as where you're planning to go and other economic factors to help you determine what will net you the most money when you sell. Sometimes pricing that home appropriately without doing those large renovations can sometimes net you more than doing the work and hoping for that bigger price. So my advice is to approach renovations very carefully, having enough information to make a smart choice. Have the agent you're working with walk through some of the options, which could include getting some estimates to determine if you want to take that renovation approach or not. But at least you are well educated when you're making that decision. Now, once you've decided on the best strategy, of course, it's time to price the home appropriately. All of these strategies we just talked about affect how the home is priced. But in addition to whether you repair, update, or renovate, it's really important to look at what's happening and the market right around your home when you make that decision. Let's say you live in a part of town where most of the homes were built in the 80s and 90s, for example. Your home was built in 84, and your neighbor's was as well, and it just sold for $650. Both homes have similar characteristics such as the floor plan, size of the lot, house style. If your home is relatively in the same condition, you'll likely get around that same price. So if there are repairs that need to be done to make your home comparable to that home that's sold, you might be doing those just to get that amount of money for your home. On the other hand, If you've decided to renovate both of the bathrooms, but everything else is more or less similar to your neighbor's home, it is unlikely you'll get that much more money to justify that cost and time you just put into renovating those bathrooms. If you're thinking about sticking around your home for 4 to 5 years or so to actually enjoy those renovations, it might be worth it and you might make more money as home prices rise. This isn't to say you can't make more money when you renovate, but I often say don't do it just to sell. Do the work and enjoy the upgrades for a while, and it will pay off down the road. When I meet to discuss strategy, we talk about possibly just doing some light renovations, such as restaining a deck, painting a room, replacing vinyl in a utility room that's torn up, those sort of things that just add a fresh pop without a major contrast or dent in your wallet. We meet and walk through your home, talk about all the different strategies and what they mean in terms of how much money you can get for your home and how much you have to put out of pocket before we list. I hope this was helpful to get you thinking about different approaches when you're ready to sell. Don't forget to watch my pre-inspection video on this channel, which takes a deeper dive into whether or not you should take that approach. Thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, hit that subscribe button below. I post new videos regularly to give you everything you need to know about selling your home in any type of market.